These sound bites are brought to you by 365 Days of Nutrition.com. And we've got a very rainy day outside today, Jen. So we've chosen to sit inside and talk about gut health.
Just talk about a poo, yes.
Yes, exactly that. I mean, I'm fascinated by gut health.
Yeah.
I understand you've got a second brain in your gut. They talk about gut instincts.
Yeah.
You have, if you've got a stomachache, it affects the rest of your body. All around that area, the deep and mysterious stomach is a fascination.
Oh my gosh, it's really emerging at the moment. You know, years ago, people used to think your gut was all about just eliminating waste from the body. And so people's point of reference about gut health were how regular were your bowel movements, you know, if you got wind, and that was about the extent of what people thought it did.
Yeah, because I just remember very fondly, I'm sure you've had this, and anybody else that's got children will recognise this, the minute they sit around the dining table with their friends, I used to have a little stopwatch out, and within about 10-15 seconds I would come the poo conversations, and they'd all be howling with laughter, you know.
It's all you hear, isn't it, when you've got kids? Poo. But
bodily functions.
Absolutely, it is so important. And now the research is looking into it more. This second brain that you talk about is actually now in many circles termed to be the second most important organ in the body compared to the liver, because it's far from just being about eliminating waste from the body, but actually it's now being shown to be one of the biggest things to govern the body and how the body works, from producing your serotonin, which is the feel-good hormone, affecting what's going on psychologically. It's where we have about 70% of our immune system. So if people find they pick up bugs and coughs and colds easily, look at what's going on with your gut. It's where you can have the foundations for sugar cravings. It governs your metabolism.
It's a proper little city down there, isn't it?
Epic what goes on down there. And it is just full of all these bacteria, this completely different, you know, ecology going on in our body, and we've almost got like a favour with it, where we produce this lovely warm wet environment for it to thrive in, and as a byproduct, if you've got an overgrowth of the positive bacteria, so they're really thriving, they do loads to really help and look after our body as like a payback. Problems
we
start
work hand in hand.
Absolutely. When you start to get the imbalance in gut, you start to get too much of the negative or the opportunistic bacteria, and then the good bacteria starts to deplete, and that's when you can start to notice things in your body might start to get out of order. Absolutely.
So my question to you then is, if you've got an imbalance, is that solely created by the food that you eat?
No, the food that you eat has a really profound impact on the body. Sugar, yeast, alcohol really do feed the negative bacteria, but so do things like stress, antibiotics. So, you know, it's food and lifestyle factors. But also, a lot of it out of your control. How you were born can actually make a difference. Whether you were breastfed can make a difference. So I'm not saying that it's, you know, if you were born by C-section, you were bottle fed, you don't stand a chance. Quite the opposite. You know, I was C-section, bottle fed. I haven't grown two heads.
And I was born brilliantly. You can be born brilliantly. I was born brilliantly and breastfed and ended up with breast cancer. So.
I think the way to look at it is all these things can have an effect.
Well, they just add up, don't they? Along with the rest of what's going on in your life.
And, you know,
your lifestyle, your food intake,
your stress, your sleep, everything comes together as a whole.
The situations you place yourself in, and the situations you place yourself in that can go on for years and years that you're actually putting up with, can cause a long-term...
Absolutely. And, you know, when we're talking about gut health and balance, it isn't how regularly you go into the toilet. That is a definite impact. You know, it's a definite sign that if you're going, you know, more than once or twice a day, or you're not going for days on end, something's going on in the gut that you need to look at. But actually other signs can be really systemic things. So you might have food intolerances, so you eat something, you feel a bit sick and bloated afterwards. You can get headaches, you can feel really, really tired, you know, bloating. athlete's foot, fungal toenail infection or UTIs, all can go back to what's going on with the bacteria in your gut.
Mouth,
Even if you stood in front of a mirror and you poked your tongue out, if you've got any white coating on your tongue, that's reflecting what's going on with your gut health. So actually, by sorting out and boosting up the gut health, as well as supporting all of those symptoms, people really start to notice improved sleep, their mood lifting, and also not getting ill as much as they did before.
No.
So,
and I know that we cover this quite a bit in 365.
Yeah, a lot. So we keep coming back to that topic of poo, but it's because it's such an important one. So I think we address it in week 2 or week 3 to begin with, and we come back to it in week 10, then we come back to it again. So it's something where we won't just set out principles and say, have some probiotics
and get on with
sugar.
it.
Yeah, not at all.
No.
It's one that we'll keep looking, we'll keep assessing to see what's going on, how your bowel movements are, you know, what you can do, so whether it's increasing ground flaxseed, having a bit of aloe vera, probiotics, whether maybe it's showing signs that you've got more embedded overgrowth of negative bacteria. We can talk about testing that you can do. So we really go through it in so much detail because of how important it is.
Yeah, great. So I'm looking forward to getting as much knowledge out of it. I love dropping myself into this 365 program myself because I'm learning as we go, and every time I meet you I learn something new, and away we are.
Absolutely. Well, they've, in some countries, and I putting my marker out there now to say I think in about 30 years time it will be quite common over here, but they've started to realise the importance of what goes on with your gut. So they've been looking at people who've maybe got chronic health conditions, you know, chronic arthritis, and having an overgrowth of negative bacteria that they can't remedy, and they've started to do experimental poo transplants. So they wipe out the ecology of somebody who's not very well and transplant the feces of somebody who's got a really positive gut bacteria. And actually, when people are having this done in some of these early trials, a lot of their health conditions are getting remedied because the gut bacteria
deals with it.
Absolutely.
If only this was a video and you could see my face.
I really tried to keep going then with this.
That's amazing. And what's amazing is, I know we're always learning, every day is a school day, but learning so much about your gut. There's so much out there at the moment.
It's fascinating. And it's just how much and the impact it has, and we will go through so many tips in 365, even down to the role that they have if you're trying to lose weight, and about actually eating slowly. It's the bacteria in your gut that trigger your body to know it's full up, because they're the ones that start to realise we've got food coming through, we can switch off the hunger mechanism. So if you eat your dinner really quickly, you overeat because it hasn't got a chance to reach the bacteria to do the feedback, whereas if you eat slowly, you eat a lot less because actually you get the feedback mechanism before you've overeaten.
Well, your little mine of information.
Oh, thank you.
So that's a little brief insight into gut health, and there'll be so much more as we move through the programme.
So much more. You'll all be experts by the end of the 365 days.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
If you like this soundbite from 365 days of nutrition.com, comment on it, like it, or share it.